Uh, my name is Ed Ogboy. We put this introduction to CI/CD together, myself and Florence Ojo. Florence is not here at the moment, but I think she'll be listening in because she's at work. So this is introduction to CI/CD. So here I would say, what is CI/CD? You know, CI/CD is continuous integration and continuous deployment. What does this mean? Because in DevOps, the short form of for development and IT operation. So the steps are usually written out with an infinite loop, just like this. So it keeps going continuously like that. Since it's cycle and repeat forever. So it continue going like that. And then what is the concept? Why is this concept so important? And what problem can they solve? So the step in cycle are, first of all, the developer write the code, then the then it get built, then it get tested, then it is deployed into production, and then the end user use it. So the customer use it, and then after they've used it, they'll give us feedback, and then we'll monitor the feedback here. All the feedback that have been given is monitored and collected. And finally, we plan again on how to improve around all the feedback that have been given. So CI/CD, yeah, so what is CI/CD? The acronym CI/CD has a few different meanings. So CI in CI/CD always referred to as continuous integration, whereas CD referred to either continuous delivery or continuous deployment. So you can see in the uh, diagram here that continuous integration here, first of all, the developers build their code and then tester test it and then it is merged. Whereas when it's merged, we now have the continuous delivery, which is automatically released to the repository. We either use GitLab or GitHub for the repository. So, and then we also have continuous deployment. So this deploy automatically to production. So what is CI? CI is a process whereby developers are given opportunity to integrate code into a shared repository. So they integrate their code here into a shared repository. It can be either GitHub or GitLab. They do this several times in a day. So the code is verified by an automated build, which allows team to detect any problem earlier during the sprint. So here the project manager is in charge, is the person in charge responsible for how the project is being built. So he oversees the changes and make design decisions and deciding how bugs should be fixed and managed. So we have also the repository. So here, when the code is written and pushed to a repository like GitHub or GitLab, that's where everything starts. So from here, the code is analyzed and given a series of automated tests. So here we have a unit test. So at this point, the code is tested as the test, this test is performed per individual unit of source code. And then from there, we move on to, we now perform validation test. So this make sure that the software satisfy or fits the intended use, and also the performing format testing is also done. So this check the syntax and also other formatting errors, just to make sure that everything has been properly formatted. So these are created and run every time you put code to a master branch. And then the code could be coming from, because now that we are all working remotely, the code could be coming from different teams all over the world, from developer working on the source of different projects. They are working on the same thing at the same time. So the code can be pushed from America, India, or even Europe. So this process is more efficient to build an automated test to make sure that everyone is on the same page at the same time. So here, what is CD? CD is continuous delivery. It's a practice of automating the release process so that the code change can be deployed to production at any time. It streamlines deployment, testing, and infrastructure updates, and then enabling frequent and continuous and reliable releases. So the goal is to deliver new features and improve quality while ensuring quality and stability. And here we have what is CD. CD here is continuous deployment, is the advanced stage of CI/CD. We have continuous delivery. This one is the advanced stage of CI/CD pipeline, where every code chain that passes through the automation test is released directly to production without manual approval. It represents the ideal goal for teams not limited by regulatory or compliance constraints. And then it enables rapid and fully automated delivery services. And then here we have what is CD used for? When is CI/CD used? So CI/CD is a great fit when software needs to be updated quickly. That's when CI/CD is used. It is used for web application. It is also used for mobile app or cloud services. It works especially well in Agile and DevOps teams that focus on collaboration and also automation. It works fast and give faster feedback. So if, for example, if we push our code and we find fault, it's faster for us to fix that error before it goes live. So it's faster, but includes also heavy regulations so that there are some areas that you cannot use CI/CD, such as healthcare, finance, that are heavily regulated because of continuous deployment is always possible and strictly compliance to check required. So industries like healthcare, financial services, aviation, continuous deployment is not always suitable because of the strict regulations that they have. And also, we also have the example of CI/CD tools. So these are some of the popular ones. We have GitHub Actions, GitLab, CI/CD, and we have Jenkins. Jenkins is an open source. So this one is free, is an open source solution. And also we have Azure DevOps Pipeline. So what are the stages we have in CI/CD? So these are some of the workflows that we have in CI/CD. So the team of developer write the code using source code management like GitHub or GitLab. And next, you have the build. This is where the application gets compiled, and this run the application. And next, we have the test where the automation test is run, whether UI functional testing. And also, then we have the release pipeline. So this deployed to the app. For example, for web server, this is used to build the package using zip, .jar, Dockers, image, etc. And then we have the deploy stage as well. So at this stage, the application is deployed to an environment, whether staging or production environment, and then we monitor the performance of the application using metrics, and logs are collected. If we find any error, this error will be taken into planning, and then corrections are made from those errors. So why use CI/CD? Why do we use CI/CD? We use CI/CD because it automates things that normally human or otherwise, things that human being, that things that can be done manually. So it automates it freely, seamlessly, and finds more problems before they go into main code. It finds issues before they go into main code. And if we push code manually to customers, it will cause a lot of problems. That is why we use CI/CD. And another thing, it helps to prevent technical debt. Technical debt, which means it helps to reduce cost. It makes it cheaper to fix bug. So we're looking at here, what are the benefits of CI/CD? So one of the benefits of CI/CD is that it lowers cost. It lowers cost to build automation, test, reduce, because instead of you having, for example, 5 manual testers, you can have 2 automation testers, and they'll be able to manage the team, and it reduces expenses. So smaller, safer updates, and updates are safer, and frequently run integration leads to manageable and easier to test code. It makes the code easier to test. It reduces backlog as well. It makes the developer focus on more innovation, how to improve themselves and spend more time building the future instead of fixing bugs all the time, repeating issues, and they produce higher code qualities as well, faster issue resolution, and faster time to the market. Because if we use CI/CD, it makes us get to the market faster and better project visibilities, which it takes real time tracking and keeping teams aware of progress and deadline. It also improve user satisfaction. So fewer bugs, we make the end user satisfied with it makes the customer satisfied, and customer have good experience. And it's also scalable development, because it's cloud-based. We have cloud-based environment. which is supported, and it's faster to build and flexible development. So what is Azure Pipeline? For example, Azure Pipeline is like, when you're in a factory, you're putting raw materials into a machine and it gives you the finished goods. So Azure Pipeline is like an assembly line of software. You put in the software, you put your code, and then it automatically build and test and deploy your application. It is a cloud hosted service. So Microsoft manages all the servers and infrastructures for you. So the Azure Pipeline work in many languages and platforms like, for example, .NET environment, Java, Node.js, Python, and it also support both web, desktop, and mobile application. It also integrates easily with popular code repositories such as GitHub, Azure Repos, and making it flexible for any development team. So the basic pipeline workflow. So we're looking at the basic pipeline workflow. When a developer write their code, they push the code to a repository, and then the CI pipeline build and run the test. And when it build and run the test, we have the artifacts are created, which is the end product is built. That is the output package. That is the finished work. That is the production ready to be delivered. And this is the diagram of the pipeline deployed into environment. So this process take artifact and deploy it into different environments step by step. For example, you deploy into source code, then build, and then test, and then deployment. Creating a pipeline in Azure DevOps. How do you create a pipeline in Azure DevOps? So here, it's very straightforward. From our research, say when you open the pipeline, the Azure DevOps home screen with and then select pipeline, then new pipeline. The wizard will show options. Then you pick repository, whether you want GitHub, Azure Repo, etc. Then you configure the pipeline choosing YAML or class editor. Then you using, and when you use the YAML editor, here you define the pipeline steps and then save it and run it. When you save it and run it, you will commit the dialog with the option to run immediately, and the pipeline will run. Job will be executed with view log. That view log will be ticked as green check mark. It will be ticked as green. So in summary, CI/CD is functional DevOps skills. That this is the skill of a DevOps, and it delivers speed, reliability, and lowers risk. So, and it also makes you significantly more effective and valuable in the market. Though it's gradually done with good tooling and culture. It depends on the culture of the organization. Thank you. I'll stop sharing.